Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
You know, we were talking earlier when we first started the show about, are the Browns the worst franchise in all of sports? And it kind of lines up with what we were talking about then, where, you know, the question is the Myles Garrett trade request, is this rock bottom since 99? Like, you know, in 16 they were winless. They won one game the year before. There was a stretch, I think, where they went, like, what was it? They won 4 out of 50 games, whatever it is. Is this rock bottom? Is this even, like, do you feel worse about the Browns now than you did after they went winless?
It's hard to say yes to that because winless is really, really rock bottom. Like, it really is bad. But to see a franchise seemingly make the turn into a playoff caliber team, which they were in that, 19 and 20, 21, that range with Baker Mayfield, that changed the trajectory in our minds of what the team was going to be. Like, oh, we don't suck anymore. Well, now they did the Watson thing, which got us so excited about the team. Thought it would take us to the next level.
Yeah.
I mean, this arguably is rock bottom because you got a Hall of Fame player giving the middle finger to the organization.
Yes.
Like, it's really bad. Like, the fans have always felt like they've been mistreated or whatever, and now you got the best player we've had in the last 30 years saying it, like, and asking out, and the fans are supporting him.
Yes. Yeah. That's how bad it is.
I wasn't here for 1-15, 0-16, so my perspective is a little different. But I can't imagine it getting lower than this for a lot of what Dustin just said, but also there's no hope. And I don't mean that it can't change. Yes, you could draft a Jaden Daniels and a quarterback and change it around, but as we said earlier, they have the number 2 pick, and do you trust the general manager to make said pick? Well, I thought you did a great job yesterday going through. They don't have a quarterback. They don't really have any running backs. They have Jerry Jeudy and no receivers. Their offensive line is old. Your best defensive lineman is requesting a trade. Your best linebacker may never play football again. Denzel Ward has had 6 concussions in his career. Yeah. He is 1 hit away from potentially being done as well. The young talent on this team is not where you want it to be, and if you're going to be bad, there's always hope that, hey, we have these picks, we have these young assets. Like, you have the hope of the franchise to turn around. But with the cap situation, with the Deshaun Watson contract and the whole situation just lingering around this team, I don't know where that beacon of hope is unless you trust Andrew Berry to nail that number 2 pick and particularly nail it with a quarterback. It's not a great quarterback draft class according to all the experts. We don't know how it's going to pan out. And do you trust Andrew Berry? My answer is no. So, yeah, I don't know how it gets much lower than this.
So, obviously, at this point, it's hard to believe that is so many years ago at this point. It's been almost a decade since that.
Was it 16?
16, yeah.
And also that year we won the title.
The Cavs won the title. The Guardians won. Indians were 1 win away. Like, it was a great year for the rest of the sports.
So the Browns sort of got a little bit of a pass there, too.
Yeah. I mean, that summer was amazing.
Oh, my God.
It was an amazing summer. And an amazing fall. And then it went down the crapper. But, yes, everybody was in such a joyous state. It is a little prisoner of the moment to say it's worse now. But ultimately, you guys have already hit on a lot of the reasons why I think it is worse now. Because part of the reason it's worse now, when they were bad with Hugh Jackson and they went 1-15 and 0-16, it was just a continuation of years where they were terrible. Yes, they had the Derek Anderson year where they almost made the playoffs. They had the year with Brian Hoyer where
they got to 7-4.
Yeah, and thought. I declared them a playoff team.
They had the great win over the Bengals. Yes. It was a Thursday game or Monday game.
Yeah, it was a night game.
Thursday game, 7-4.
Right.
And then the following week it went to hell in a handbasket with Josh Gordon and Johnny Manziel.
That's right. But, so you had those things briefly. But with Kevin Stefanski and with Baker to some degree, there was this sense that they had raised the floor for the franchise.
Yeah.
Like, the Browns' floor forever, from the 90s till Stefanski and Baker, the Browns' floor was the bottom. They were the dreck of the league. Not every year, but it felt like they could be the dreck of the league every year. And then Stefanski and Baker in 2020 go to the playoffs. And right before the year before, and then after that, they didn't go to the playoffs for a couple of years, but they were competitive. They weren't the dreck of the league. They had some talent. They had some talent in their prime. And then last year, yes, I'm saying now I look back, it was unsustainable, and they won in kind of a weird way that you can't really win. But you felt, even if we admitted that it was unsustainable, you still felt like, look at what Kevin Stefanski did with this team. They have a terrible quarterback situation, and yet they're still good. And then the bottom just fell out.
Yeah, it's like a box, cratered.
I know 3-14 is not 0-16. That's not much of a difference.
Correct.
It really is not. And they were arguably the worst team in football. I know Tennessee, gets the tiebreaker to get the first pick, but they were arguably the worst team in football. Throw in the fact that the division right now is even better than it's been.
The AFC is a conference.
The AFC, you have Patrick Mahomes, you have Joe Burrow, you have Lamar Jackson,
Herbert,
you have Josh Allen.
Stroud.
Yeah. And beyond, the top four guys.
Allen.
The 4 best guys in football.
Allen, Burrow, Lamar, and Mahomes. They're the 4 best quarterbacks in the league. And they're all in your conference, and 2 are in your division. They're in a terrible cap position, which wasn't the case when they were 0-16.
You're selling me.
They had an abundance of draft picks at the time. Now, they've got all their draft picks back now, but it's not like they have extra draft picks right now.
They don't have 2 firsts in a draft.
No, they got an extra, what do they have this year? An extra third, maybe?
An extra third, a couple.
And that's nice. It's nice to have an extra third, but it's not, huge unless you nail it. Plus, we have no faith in the GM. We had faith in the coach, and a lot of us have lost faith in the coach.
Wavering. He started the season on hot season.
At best, wavering.
Yep.
And so the best player wants to, at that point, you still had Joe Thomas at that time. He didn't want to be out of here. Myles Garrett wants out. We hate the owner. We hate the GM. A lot of people hate the coach. There's nothing to look forward to quarterback. Nobody thinks there's going to be a good quarterback in this draft for them to get. Again, that may be wrong, but that's the general consensus is.
Oh, by the way, they're trying to build a new stadium.
And they're trying to build a new stadium, and there's this feeling that the Browns don't care about winning right now. They just want to win when they move into that new stadium.
Yeah.
And you throw that all in then yes, right now, it seems like this is the rock bottom for a franchise that has the worst winning percentage since '99 of any team in the 3 sports we talk about, baseball, football, and basketball. The worst. Not the 5th worst, the 8th worst. There's 100. How many teams with baseball, football, and basketball? 30, 92. There's 92 teams.
Full and Fox math.
And the Browns have the worst winning percentage of the 92 by a lot. Yeah, this is it. And again, doesn't mean 2 years from now, 3 years from now, they can't be on their way up. This year, they could be trending in the right direction.
Shador could be a hit.
Right now, this moment in time,
yes,
things feel very hopeless.
Mm-hmm. My question now, because I think we're all in agreement, right? This is Can it get lower? Like, is there anything that can actually sink you?
Well, if they draft Shador or Cam Ward at 2, and they're not any good.
Yeah,
and then you fire Stefanski, and then you want to draft another quarterback.
Good point. Yeah.
And you're starting over because if they're terrible again this season, Stefanski and Berry are going to get fired, and then you're starting over again. And then if you drafted a quarterback, the new guy may not want that quarterback, and then it's a whole
But at least there's a new GM and coach. You have hope again.
That's true.
You have that feeling of, okay, this is the group that's going to turn it around.
I don't know that
it just feels like there's a lot of people here that have different ideas on how quickly this thing should get turned around. Like, it basically has to be a teardown, yet the franchise doesn't want to do that. Myles Garrett doesn't want to do that.
Stefanski doesn't want to do that.
Stefanski doesn't want to do it. Like, Barry, Stefanski, and Garrett, these guys want to win now.
Yeah.
Because their jobs are on the line. Myles Garrett, not so much, because he's going to get paid no matter what, wherever he goes. But, they're at a crossroads because they're not going to win right now.
No, not on any kind of high level.
Well, the only chance they have of winning relatively soon is to trade Myles Garrett. Period.
No, well, no, not if they nail it at quarterback.
I still think you need to have players to throw the football to.
Sure, you need more guys, no doubt. They need to add. They need
elite talent, but you can't get in free agency.
No, you're right. You're right. Or very rarely, once in a while, like
a guy here or there, but you're not going to be able to build like David Njoku's had one really good month of his career, basically.
Yeah,
you know, and he's a talented.
Same thing with Jerry Jeudy.
Same thing
1 or
with
2 months.
Like so, can we count on those guys?
No, not to be stars. They're good players.
You need an elite running back right now.
Yep.
You need an elite number 1 wide receiver right now. And you probably need another tight end right now.
Yeah.
Not to mention an offensive line.
And a quarterback.
So let's do that without any first-round picks.
With 1 first-round pick.
Right.
Yeah, they probably, I haven't looked at every team, but they have to have, if not the least amount of talent under 29, in the top 5 in terms of least talent under 25. How could they not? Because we just named the very few guys.
If you can't,
under 29.
If you can't score any points, what's the point of stopping anybody? I mean, Myles Garrett, you want to pay this guy all this money to do what? To be the defensive player of the year on a 3-14 football team?
They could have gone 3-14 without him.
100%.
Yeah, that's it.
They could have won 5 games without him.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's
right. Some of those games,
negligible.
Yeah. The only thing that moves the needle significantly is the quarterback. Maybe the coach to some degree. But here's the thing, as you said, Dustin, and I know I believe Zach Jackson wrote about this. I can't remember if he just tweeted about it or wrote about it. I didn't get a chance to read his article this morning. I think he wrote about it. But you're in a situation, and this happens all the time in the NFL, especially with bad teams. The GM and coach are fighting for their job. So what the Browns should do this offseason, what's better for the organization may not be what's better for Berry and Stefanski.
Not personally.
So what Jimmy Haslam has to do, in my opinion, is he either has to, like, if he's not going to fire Berry, he's not going to fire Stefanski.
He's got to give him some job security.
If he's not going to fire Berry, now they have job security in terms of contracts.
Yeah, but that
means nothing.
Jimmy Haslam's got to go to Berry and Stefanski and say, listen, Andrew, I'm not firing you next year no matter what. You need to make a move that's best for the organization long term.
Yeah.
I know that might work against what could help you potentially keep your job next year. I'm not going to hold it against you. And I know he could say that, and then he could go back on that. But what screws organizations all the time
is mixed timelines.
Yes. And if Andrew Berry's like, well, I got to sign all these. I can't trade Myles Garrett. If I trade Myles Garrett, that makes it more likely I'm going to get fired. Well, if he has that attitude into every move he makes, then that's bad for the Browns.
So, not to tie this back to basketball, but Nico Harrison, the Mavs GM who made the Luka trade, basically said, and you can believe, I don't agree with this. This is what he said.
Yeah.
I didn't want to shop Luka, get 10 first-round picks. I'm not going to be here to make those picks. I think I'll be here 2-3 years tops. I think Anthony Davis can win the championship in 2-3 years. That's why I made the move. I don't agree, but that was his reasoning. If Andrew Berry trades Myles Garrett for future picks, and Andrew Berry, there's no guarantee he's going to be around to make those. We just had a whole 25-minute conversation about why we probably all agree he should not be making the number 2 pick in the first place, rather than future picks. So if you're Andrew Berry, like, what's your incentive? And Kevin Stefanski, I've said he's going to be on the hot seat to start the season, whether that's right or wrong. He wants to win.
Right,
and I understand.
But he's ultimately not making the pick, so it really doesn't
I'm just
matter.
saying, in the big picture of the Browns organization, Stefanski wants to win. They all want to win, obviously, but to keep his job, he needs to win and at least show progress with a young quarterback if they're not going to win games.
And winning meaning like compete for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right now.
And it's hard. That's why I do think this is ultimately the rock bottom.
Right.
There's so many mixed signals and cross paths right now that I don't know how they straighten it out to figure out what's best for the future of the franchise.
Well, what's best for to me, if I'm Jimmy, first I'd cut out a few brain cells to be Jimmy. And
you'd get a few brain cells to get some cash.
That's true. Damn right I would.
Oh, yeah.
I saw. Speaking of which, sidebar real quick. I'll pull a Ken Carmen sidebar here. Actually, Nick Wilson's a big sidebar guy too. Love you, Nick.
But you don't love Ken?
I love Ken too. Yes, he actually texted me randomly out of the blue to talk about the Rocky movies.
Still can't get a phone call from him.
What's going on? Let's go, Ken. Make that call.
Yeah.
But anyway, I saw this tweet that said, "Would you rather have an 850 credit score, $6,000 a week, or $5 million if you could have one of those three things. And I'm
$5 million.
I understand that with first of all, the 850 credit score, who cares if you have the money, the credit score.
Yeah, I'm liquid, baby.
And I got a good credit score anyway. Not far off from 850, baby.
Yeah.
But
I am.
that could change, though. That could change.
Yeah.
In years,
Yeah.
it could change. But here's the thing: the $6,000 a year, I get it. After a certain amount of years, you'd have more than $5 million. But $5 million changes your life away, right away, and you could take just $1 million, invest it, and then you're going to make more than $6,000 a week off of that. Anyway, that was a sidebar, but it was a crap. What made me think of that money? Oh, because you saying you give up the brain cells for the money.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For $5 million, I cut out some brain cells. But Jimmy Haslam, what he should do is, he should today go to Kevin Stefanski and say, "Hey, Kevin, I'm about to fire Andrew Berry. He's out of here. This was the final straw with Myles. You and I together are going to find the right GM to help you make this team a winner. You are my coach. You're going to be my coach through the end of your contract, no matter what happens. And and if he has to go out back on that, so be it. But make Kevin Stefanski feel like you're the guy. You will make all decisions on the field. The GM will pick the players.
You would essentially be empowering Stefanski.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, and say Paul DePodesta will have nothing to do with the game plan. He's gone too. You're not picking the players, but once the players are on the roster, you make every decision. It's your team once they're on the team, and we're going to together find a GM that's right, that believes in our vision, and he's going to make the picks. But we're going to make decisions on what's good for the Browns. Yeah, we want to win, but we got to make decisions that are best for this organization in the long term.
I like it.
That's what they should do. I doubt they'll do it, but that's what they should do. Make Kevin Stefanski confident in his power and his job, get rid of Berry and DePodesta, and find a GM with Kevin Stefanski that can work with him, that is all about, hey, if these quarterbacks are not worth taking it to, then don't do it. Fine. Don't do it. But don't force it because you're afraid you're going to lose your job, and don't not do it because you're afraid to make a mistake either. So that's what I would do. I think that would, be smart, but we'll hope for the best for Jimmy. Go ahead.